This is News 8 Now, this morning.
We have a lot of our own children that go to school, so not only did our other students help, and we hopefully help plant the seed of random acts of kindness and what we can do to help others.
The main focus, of course, is we are going to be benefiting the Booster Club, which also gives money towards athletics within the Holmen area here. So all the proceeds go to that cause, which is going to be really beneficial to a lot of kids.
There needs to be better hands-on training for first responders. So when they're in virtual reality, it feels very realistic to them that they're actually taking care of real victims.
Good morning, everyone. That was your morning eye opener. I'm Dua Esrar.
I'm Derek Sibley.
It is July 10th, 2023. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
We're back to another week on the morning show.
Yep. And we're starting off pretty hot too.
We are.
So there we go.
Definitely getting warmer out there, which is so weird because it's always a little cooler when you and I are getting in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I sit here and I listen to Derek talk about how hot it's going to be, and I'm so cold in this newsroom.
And it's just like, gosh, how is it going to be so hot outside when it's freezing in here?
Yeah, and then when you do walk out, you're like, oh,
yeah,
it's like just constant humidity and hot air.
Just hits you pretty good. Well, it's the time of the year, right? And we're also tracking a front that could give us some thunderstorms to go along with this hot air mass for us today. We'll get to all that in a second. Right now, things are looking pretty quiet. No thunderstorms to really talk about, but there are a few showers up towards Rusk County that I'm still watching here early this morning. But other than that, that's about it. That's courtesy of the front that's making its way down to the south. Current temperatures are into the 60s, 66 in Winona, it's 67 in La Crosse. We're seeing temperatures at 69 degrees currently in Eau Claire. 62 is the temperature right now in Viroqua. Look at the 24-hour temperature change map. We're about 10 to 15 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. In fact, if you're in Volkfield, you're looking at 23 degrees of a warmer difference here compared to just yesterday morning across your location. Your planner for today showing that we're going to be looking at mostly sunny conditions. Temperatures warming up into the 70s by 9 o'clock. Followed by the 80s by 11, and then the upper 80s to low 90s this afternoon here today. As far as your allergy report goes, the grass and the weed is low, but the mold is still high, and we got the same forecast in store for the day tomorrow again. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast. We'll talk about some of these thunderstorms and the risk of some of those thunderstorms that could develop here today. All that and more in just a bit. Dua.
All right, thanks, Derek. Well, let's get to some headlines this morning. The La Crosse Police Department says one of their canine officers has died unexpectedly. Police say their German Shepherd Thor had not been himself, so they took him in for a veterinary visit. Doctors found Thor had a mass on his spleen. Even though surgery to remove it was a success, his recovery was not, and Thor died on July 4th with his handler by his side. Thor had over 500 deployments during his career. There will be a memorial for him in the coming weeks. Thor was 7 years old. Vernon County Sheriff's Office has released a statement focusing on an incident involving a horse-drawn buggy. According to the statement, a child was playing on the roof of a buggy in Franklin while it was parked in a private driveway. The horse attached to the buggy abruptly took off for a short distance before stopping. The child was then thrown from the buggy and was momentarily unconscious. Vernon County Sheriff's Office responded along with Viroqua Fire Department and Mountain Rescue. The patient declined transport to the hospital. La Crosse police have arrested a man they believe intentionally sank a car into the river near Huska Park. 18-year-old Javi Compan is in jail on charges of burglary, stealing a vehicle, theft of a domestic animal, criminal damage to property, and felony bail jumping. According to the police report, the car had been stolen earlier this week after Compan allegedly broke into a home and stole the resident's vehicle's keys. Compan is also accused of stealing gaming consoles and the resident's cat. Police say the victim was sent a video of the car sinking in the river. According to online court records, Compan has several open court cases, including criminal property damage and second-degree sexual assault. Several law enforcement officers were medically cleared at a local hospital after directly being exposed to fentanyl. The exposure happened within a contained area of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Due to the dangers of fentanyl, the Sheriff's Office worked with the Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigations, the DEA, and 54th Civil Support Unit to decontaminate the area to eliminate risk of exposure. Black River Falls Fire and EMS also assisted with the cleanup. 3 men have been arrested as part of a drug trafficking investigation. 46-year-old Lewis Ray, 33-year-old Timothy Cannon, and 23-year-old Dante Ray Jr. are accused of dealing fentanyl and cocaine. Officers say they seized 43.2 grams of fentanyl and 3 vehicles during the investigation. A La Crosse teen arrested in connection to a violent beating of a man was in court. 17-year-old Javon Long is charged with first-degree recklessly endangering safety and aggravated battery with a dangerous weapon, both as a party to a crime. Both of those charges are also felonies. According to the criminal complaint, first responders found a man on Gold Street bleeding from a head injury. A police officer took the stand to testify what she saw in video recordings of the incident. She says Long punched the victim multiple times and another man used the victim's bike as a weapon. Long is out on a $5,000 signature bond. 3 Toma men have been arrested in connection to a burglary in Hillsborough. 30-year-old Blaze Rouse, 39-year-old Joseph Trumbull, and 33-year-old Dustin Sprague were arrested for burglary. They are accused of breaking into a house that was temporarily vacant while undergoing renovations. The men allegedly stole property worth $11,000. Most of the stolen property has been recovered, but the investigation is ongoing. Rouse and Sprague were held on $5,000 cash bonds. Trumbull was released on a $3,000 signature bond. La Crosse's Habitat for Humanity wants to think bigger with its projects. It's launching a new program to go from one house to revamping a neighborhood. The nonprofit is launching Renew the Block to approach home construction on a bigger scale, focusing on entire blocks and communities. The first project Habitat is looking to renew is the block of Avon Street between Sill and Clinton Street. The project will include a Northside Community Pool and Logan Middle School. Habitat's Community Outreach Director says larger scale projects will better address community needs.
Over the past several years, we've learned that our community needs so much more from us, and so we've developed additional programs around repairing homes, salvaging and deconstructing homes, focusing on neighborhood revitalization that sort of fill some essential gaps in our community right now.
Habitat has built over 70 houses since starting in 2002. This year, they plan on building 11. Well, more children in Chippewa Valley will soon have new beds to sleep on. Staff from the Stilson Elementary School came out to make beds for kids who don't have them. According to Christina Coulson, a kindergarten teacher at the school, Chippewa Valley has the second highest poverty rate in the state. The school raised over $4,000 between November and March. Coulson says she's glad she is able to help by building the beds for children in need.
We have a lot of our own children that go to school, so not only did our other students help, and we hopefully help plant the seed of random acts of kindness and, what we can do to help others. We as humans take for granted the things as simple as a bed and a good night's sleep, and knowing that that's a need in our area and in the Chippewa Valley and all over the state, that's something that we can help with and help to pay it forward, hopefully.
The staff made 22 beds and hope to make more beds in the future. Be Fit Gym and Deep Roots Chiropractic teamed up to host the first annual Holman Fit 5K race and 1-mile walk. The event was centered around surrounding yourself with the community and the pursuit of wellness. Organizers said the goal was to give support to the next generation.
The main focus, of course, is we are going to be benefiting the Booster Club, which also gives money towards athletics within the Holman area here. So all the proceeds go to that cause, which is going to be really beneficial to a lot of kids.
Participants said that not only was it a beautiful day, get out and run, but coming out and helping support local athletic programs for the kids is a great feeling.
being, an athlete in my local hometown, I love, the booster clubs really helped out with our sports, so I really appreciate, anybody that wants to support their local booster club.
The sponsors of the 5K, BeFit Gym and Deep Roots Chiropractic, raised over $1,500. Well, if you're looking for a family-friendly event that supports a good cause, the Wise family is hosting a kids carnival at Wygant Park. This weekend, admission is $10 and it will be held from 4 to 7 p.m. on Saturday. There will be live music, a silent auction, kids games, and fun for the whole family. We will have more information on our website, news8000.com. Well, still ahead on your morning news, some farmers may be able to receive some compensation from the Department of Agriculture. And delivery drivers are trying to increase their wages, but will it affect the delivery charges? That and more is coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. An Arizona man picked up an extra passenger on his way to work, but this passenger was not a person. It was a bobcat. Turns out the man had hit a bobcat but didn't know until he put the car in park and heard a noise from under the hood. The Arizona Game and Fish Department came to the rescue of the big cat and freed it from the vehicle. It was not injured and was released back into the wild. Well, don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning is after the break.
Mostly clear skies here across the area right now. We're watching a few showers up towards the north, up towards Rusk County, but that's about it. Sunshine here for the morning, and we do have those clear skies as we head into this afternoon as well, followed by a few passing clouds as we take a look at the evening hours for the dog walking conditions there. All right, so our current temperatures stand into the 60s. We got 69 in Eau Claire, 66 in Winona, 67 in La Crosse. Temperatures are in the 50s. Black River Falls and Sparta here this morning. Your zone forecast today, we'll be calling for the high temperatures to rise this afternoon into the low 90s around La Crosse County. La Crosse and Unalaska probably just shy of that 90-degree mark today, but some spots like West Salem and Durham, Bangor looking at a high of 90. New Albin, you're also looking at a high of 90 today. Same can be said in Lynxville down in Prairie du Chien as well. Soldiers Grove, a high of 90, Viroqua 88 today. Melrose, you're looking at 90 as well. Same further south into the Trempealeau area, 90 today in Blair and also into Whitehall today. And meanwhile, as we head into the Chippewa Valley, we can say upper 80s to low 90s for the afternoon highs and a chance of a few thunderstorms here going on as well. Speaking of thunderstorms, it's in the forecast here for a lot of us tonight. We'll talk about that coming up in the full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes.
In your consumer news this morning, farmers who believe they face discrimination from the Department of Agriculture may now receive compensation. Farmers need to fill out an application and prove they received discriminative treatment from the USDA lending programs before 2021. The relief covers a list of potential discrimination categories and covers farmers, forest landowners, and ranchers' payments could arrive sometime next year, and the maximum payout is $500,000. 7 Republican attorney generals are suing Target for the retailer's Pride Month campaign last month. The GOP AGs sent a letter to the company last week accusing them of promoting gender and sexual identity to children with their Pride-themed merchandise. The AGs warned the items could violate their state's child protection laws and said Target could be violating their own fiduciary duty. The Human Rights Campaign criticized the lawsuit as another attempt from the extreme right to bully anyone who stands by values of inclusion and diversity. So many of us came to rely on food delivery drivers during the pandemic and continue to do so. Now, a movement to pay them more faces a challenge in New York City. Companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub are trying to stop a rule that would raise the minimum wage for drivers. Over the weekend, a judge temporarily blocked the wage increase, which was set to take effect Wednesday. CBS News' Jared Hill shows us how efforts to better compensate delivery drivers are taking shape across the country.
William Medina, a food delivery driver in New York, spends a lot of time on the road.
We have to work at least between 12 and 14 hours a day to get at least $140, $160.
This day, he's spreading the word to the nearly 60,000 delivery workers like him about a new rule. It's aimed at requiring companies like Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub to pay drivers in the Big Apple about $18 an hour. Right now, the city estimates they make just over $7 before tips.
We have also families. We have to feed our kids.
The push for change comes amid growing criticism around how these companies compensate the gig workers, in particular, these delivery drivers.
The movement has already led to higher wage laws for gig workers in California, Washington State, and Seattle. In this case, Uber, DoorDash, and Grubhub are taking the Big Apple to court. DoorDash claiming the city's process was, quote, misguided and relied on dubious methodology, and warns it'll lead to price increases for you. UC Berkeley professor Michael Reich studies the issue.
When you're talking about a 6% increase in, say, a $20 trip, that's what, $1.50 or something like that. Let's not call it a big increase in prices.
Medina says his fight for gig workers is just beginning.
Are there other things that you all need?
Yeah.
Next, he wants rules guaranteeing insurance for drivers.
Minnesota's legislature passed a bill in May that would have set a minimum wage for rideshare drivers. The governor, though, vetoed it after Uber threatened to halt its operations in greater Minnesota outside of the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area. And that's it for your consumer news. Let's check in with Derek and get today's forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Dua. We're off to a nice clear start this morning, as you can see behind me from City Cam 8 in La Crosse. Current temperature 67 degrees with sunshine, visibility levels running crystal clear at 10 miles, winds out of the south at around 9 miles an hour. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, 69 degrees here with sunshine, southwest winds at around 10 miles an hour. Current temperatures stand mainly into the 60s. Some spots, Black River Falls, or I should say Sparta now, you're at 53. Black River Falls, you were into the 50s here earlier. You have since warmed up. 86 degrees will be the temperature at noon today, followed by 9 degrees and a few clouds around 4 o'clock. And a few thunderstorms possible as we head into early this evening, with forecast high temperatures today into the upper 80s to low 90s. Definitely going to be a hot, steamy day here for this afternoon. Things are pretty quiet right now, watching a few showers up towards the northern Chippewa Valley area, towards Rusk County, out ahead of this frontal boundary that's going to be moving in our general direction, also giving us a chance of thunderstorms for us to work with tonight. And we got some of that southerly wind flow that we'll be working with out ahead of that front to help pump in some moist air and also some hot air for us to work with. And some of those thunderstorms may even take advantage of that warm, moist air for us to work with, especially tonight. Storm Prediction Center has outlined this level 2 slight risk of severe weather across much of the Coulee region. And the main threats with these storms are gusty winds, some hail, maybe even an isolated tornado or two. Can't be completely ruled out, mainly between the 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. hour for the north and the Chippewa Valley. In areas further south, tonight between 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. overnight. So keep it here to News 8. So we'll keep you updated on that in case any watches or warnings do get issued with some of those thunderstorms. But we'll time out the front. You can see it moving south here throughout the day today. Showers and thunderstorms here as we head into this evening for the Chippewa Valley. Those thunderstorms will move south as we head into tonight. And again, some of those storms turning strong to severe before they begin to exit the area as we head into the overnight hours. And then by around 4 a.m., I expect mainly clear sky here with just a few clouds as we head into early tomorrow morning. And throughout much of the morning, as a matter of fact, looking pretty similar to what we had here this morning with clear skies. However, I am watching our next system to the west that could help increase the cloud cover again as we head into Tuesday afternoon and also into tomorrow night. Still looking at some pretty cloudy weather. This front's going to stall around here a bit. Showers and storms here mainly to the south by Wednesday morning, and then really throughout the rest of the day on Wednesday, skies looking mainly cloudy. A few thunderstorms and showers here mainly to the north as we head into Wednesday afternoon in the Chippewa Valley, and then by Wednesday night things begin to settle down. Here's a check now on your 8-day forecast. And we have a few thunderstorms in the forecast here through Wednesday. Thursday, drying out. Another chance of thunderstorms possible on Friday. Highs mainly in the 80s, lows into the 60s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather, and that's still to come on News 8 Now this morning. For now, we're taking a quick break with a look what happened on this day in history for July 10th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Yesterday across the MLB, teams were wrapping up the first half of the season ahead of the All-Star break. The Brewers hosting one last game against the Reds, trying to end the weekend just one game back in the division. We go to American Family Field. Action getting started early after Yelich started the game with a leadoff double. Jesse Winker at the plate, and with 2 outs, he hits one through to center field. Yelich rounds third. He would come in to score. Milwaukee starts the game on top. It was a big day out of Wade Miley. Cincinnati's been red hot, but Miley was grooving. In the 4th inning, gave up a leadoff double, but then followed it up with 3 strikeouts on 9 pitches. All-star Devin Williams in for the save, gets Votto swinging, and that's the game. 1-0 is the final. Wade Miley would finish 6 full innings, striking out 8, and gave up no runs. The Brewers now end the first half 1 game back from Cincinnati in the division, and when they come back from All-Star Week, the Brewers will have 3 more games against the Reds. All right, staying in the division, Cubs were trying to head into the break with a win in New York, down 3 in the 7th, but making a little comeback. Bases loaded for Jared Young. He grounds one to first, no double play, so a run scores. It's now a 2-run game. Next batter, Yan Gomes, pinch hitting, and with 2 strikes, he pokes one out to center field. 1 run scores. The throw home, not in time. A 2nd run scores. This game is tied at 4. 8th inning, bases loaded again, and this time Suzuki flies one out to right field. That's good enough to score 1. The Cubs take the lead on the sacrifice fly. Next batter, Cody Bellinger at the plate, but it's not going to matter. That ball gets to the backstop. Another run comes across as the Cubs would run away with it 7-4 and enter the break 7 games back from first place. That'll do it for the Blitz. I'll see you tonight.
You expect more, so thank you for watching News 8 Now.
New virtual reality tools are helping train first responders for whatever disasters come their way, from mass shootings to earthquakes. These high-stress events are sporadic and difficult to replicate, but as CBS's Michael George reports, a new cutting-edge VR program in Ohio puts first responders right at the scene.
See, you've got an injury here to your arm. We're going to put this tourniquet on you.
It's the kind of thing no first responder wants to encounter in real life, but must be ready for.
You're the only provider en route right now. You have reinforcements coming in about 10 minutes.
Through a headset, participants in this virtual reality training program are placed right in the middle of a subway bombing.
Can you lie on your back?
Trainees can move about the scene and triage victims who interact through artificial intelligence.
I liked how you recognized that she was probably the sickest.
Dr. Nicholas Kaman is an emergency medicine physician at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center and leads the VR initiative.
There needs to be better hands-on training for first responders. So when they're in virtual reality, it feels very realistic to them that they're actually taking care of real victims.
West Licking firefighter and paramedic Anthony Walsh took a run at it.
Screaming in the background, sirens, lots of loud noises. The light was dim. That really added on to the depth of training.
The injuries, number of victims, and conditions can all be modified. Participants are scored on their performance and debriefed after.
Many of them might want to go back in and try a harder scenario. So there is a gamification piece to this.
But with the number of mass casualty incidents rising, the consequences are very real and critical. Michael George, CBS News.
The Ohio State University College of Medicine plans to expand the program and license the software for other agencies to use. Well, President Biden is in Europe this week focusing on the future of the NATO alliance. The president will be in London for his first stop. He is expected to meet with King Charles III. The president will then head to Lithuania, where he will take on a host of issues at the NATO summit in the country's capital. He will then go to Finland for another summit to meet with leaders of Finland, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, and Denmark. The trip comes as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen comes back from China. Well, 2 military wives in Wausau are sharing their passion and determination with the city of Wausau. The couple has taken over the oldest bakery in the city, and Muhammad Abdul Qawi caught up with them to hear how they made their dreams a reality.
Another day, another shortcake.
We have worked so hard to get here. Endless hours of brainstorming, sleepless nights, early mornings.
During the pandemic, COVID-19 shut down many businesses. But for Hannah Reyes and Kathleen Riegelman, they wanted to take a chance.
We dreamed up a dream together of opening a bakery.
That dream became a reality in March 2021 with a bakery called Cup and Cake.
We kind of grew that business quickly and had bigger ideas that we wanted to incorporate and realized that the space we were working in just wasn't going to function well for us.
6 months later, everything changed. After looking for a new home, they noticed that Krieger's Bakery in Wausau was available for sale.
And I think we kind of looked at each other and were like, whoa, that's a dumb idea, but maybe we should do it.
This isn't your average bakery, though. It's actually the oldest one in Wausau. Kathleen says that added some pressure.
To take over a business that's existed and has been established for 60 years and run by the same people. So a clientele that's established but might not want change. And what we want to do in Wausau is shake things up and do something different and bring something big.
Since taking over the business, the new owners have added new baked goods while keeping some favorites. Even though the dream just started, the future looks sweet for the best friend duo.
We're just kind of taking it baby steps, little by little.
The couple's bakery will appear on a cooking competition show. Well, the lawsuit challenging Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban is moving forward. A Dane County judge today refused to dismiss a lawsuit challenging Wisconsin's 174-year-old Wisconsin ban. Wisconsin lawmakers enacted statutes outlawing abortion in all cases except to save the mother's life. In 1849, a year after the state before the territory became a state, Attorney General Josh Kaul has argued the ban is too old to enforce and more recent statutes supersede the ban. The case is likely to end up before the state Supreme Court. Wisconsin Republican leadership is criticizing Governor Tony Evers for his use of partial vetoes on income tax cuts in public education. Here's a look at Wisconsin's income tax brackets. Evers reduced the size of the GOP proposed income tax by reducing the cut for the top 2 state income tax brackets. The nonpartisan Legislative Fiscal Bureau says the move reduces the average tax cut to $3 a month. It also says under the cut Evers signed, filers earning between $30,000 to $40,000 will see the largest percentage reduction. Republicans said Evers' decision doesn't bring relief to the middle class. Evers and other Democrats argued the Republican proposal gave more tax relief to wealthy earners.
I don't think anybody that can think straightly would think somebody that's making $300,000 to $400,000 is a middle-class Wisconsinite.
Assembly Speaker Robbins also criticized Evers' veto to guarantee funding increases for public education for the next 400 years, saying the governor is raising property taxes and lied to Republicans in negotiations. Evers disputed that claim in an interview with our Madison affiliate. Voss said Republicans might sue the governor over it, but the Council for the Nonpartisan Legislative Reference Bureau says Evers' veto is lawful under the Constitution. Newly released data shows more than half of Minnesota is now under a moderate drought. As Jonah Kaplan reports, farmers in Dakota County continue to struggle with Mother Nature, but they're keeping the faith.
We're right off Highway 52, and you can see behind me, it's really a tale of 2 crops. In the far distance, this is soybeans, planted just last week. You still see a lot of brown. It hasn't really rained. Now look, just in front over here, this is corn, planted about 2 to 3 weeks ago. That's when it did rain. Look how much greener, look how much higher.
The latest drought monitor labeling Minnesota as abnormally dry. Last year at this time, the conditions actually better, but look what happened just 6 months later.
Just try praying a little harder.
Those prayers clearly didn't work for the Werner family last year. Jerry Warner saying they lost half the crop. Today, the 82-year-old is still keeping the faith. This is his 65th crop on a farm his family's owned for 150 years.
Because I survived some major surgeries and a bad stroke last fall, and I'm still going, still farming. I was out in the tractor every day this spring.
Warner taking us on a ride through the farm, one of more than 800 in Dakota County, according to the latest USDA survey. The produce doesn't just feed us, it helps grow the economy, from factories to farmers markets. The Warners do own crop insurance, but they caution that only helps them and not the consumer. As supply goes down, prices always go up.
Yeah, and then the people in the city will have to pay more for it, and then they'll complain again. But it all comes back to if the farmer don't get a crop, then they're going to have to pay more money.
Now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute. And Derek, we're also in need of some rain, just, to kind of combat that drought.
Yeah, absolutely, Dua. And right now, the latest drought monitor index that came out last week on Thursday. By the way, this will be updated this week on Thursday again. It updates every Thursday morning, so we'll be able to show this to you. But here's the latest information, and you can see that we're under this level 2 moderate drought status for much of the area. And the severe drought is down in the south, and our friends down in Madison are looking at that extreme drought status at the moment. Current temperatures are mainly into the 60s. We got 66 in Winona, 69 in Eau Claire, 67 is the temperature in La Crosse. Forecast overall today, 89 degrees, with a few isolated thunderstorms, but overall pretty hot and steamy day this afternoon. Southwest winds 10 to 20. For tonight, 65 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms possible, seasonable. West-southwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. As of right now, things are looking pretty quiet. A few showers here, mainly up towards Rusk County, but the rest of us are looking pretty dry. Check now on the mowing conditions here for today. Mixed sun and clouds, temperatures in the 70s early, followed by the 80s by noon today, upper 80s, low 90s by 5 o'clock. It's probably a better idea to go ahead and knock things out as far as the mowing goes earlier in the day so it's not too hot out there for you. But stay tuned. I'll have a final check on your full weather forecast coming up after the break. There's a chance of thunderstorms that we'll have to be talking about here tonight. Also coming up in our Buzz Report, Taylor Swift has released her new album with a few of her hit songs with some changes to go along with it as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, things are definitely off to a nice quiet start here behind me from City Cam 8 in at downtown La Crosse. 67 degrees with sunshine, south winds at 9 miles an hour in La Crosse. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, you're currently looking sunny as well this morning with temperatures at 69 degrees. And overall this morning, we're mainly into the 60s outside. A cold exception up towards the Sparta area further east at 53. But again, the rest of us mainly into the 60s as you head out the door this morning. We'll keep that trend through at least 7 o'clock, followed by the 80s at noon, and then the upper 80s to low 90s later today with a chance of thunderstorms as we head into early this evening. More on that here in just a second. But our forecast highs today into the upper 80s to low 90s. Definitely another hot and steamy here day this afternoon across the area. Right now we're looking pretty quiet. There is a few showers that I'm watching up towards Rusk County that's actually associated with a frontal boundary that's positioned just off to the north. Not ahead of it, we're getting that south to southwesterly wind motion. That's pumping in the warm and moist air mass for the thunderstorms that we're going to be watching out here as we head into tonight, because as that front moves south, we're going to be looking at showers and thunderstorms developing off the leading edge of this front here for tonight. And as a result, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a level 2 slight risk of severe thunderstorms because some of those storms could turn strong to severe with some gusty winds, some large hail, maybe an isolated tornado or two is possible between 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., mainly to the north, and then south and the rest of the Coulee region between 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. here overnight tonight. So keep it here to News 8. We'll keep you updated on that as that front continues to make its way towards the south. But here it is at 11 o'clock this morning, and then moving further south as we head into this evening. 6 o'clock, you can see showers and thunderstorms developing off that frontal boundary as it continues to make its way towards the south. By 11 o'clock, it should be passing through La Crosse with some showers and thunderstorms mainly focused down across our southern communities. 5 o'clock, I expect the stormy weather to come to a close once that front fully passes through. And then the rest of the morning tomorrow is looking mostly sunny and watching increasing clouds moving in from the west with a slight chance of a shower possible. Now, this frontal boundary is going to kind of hang around here as we head into early in the day on Wednesday. And as a result, a few showers and thunderstorms are possible as this front kind of hangs around here as we head into early on Wednesday. And then here's Wednesday at 11 o'clock, and you can see in the morning that things will come to a close. Most of the stormy weather east, looking at some cloudy skies with showers and storms moving in once again as we head into Wednesday afternoon from our next system. And then by Wednesday night, so we're looking cloudy after that. All right, here's a check on your 8-day forecast, and you can see showers and thunderstorms in the forecast again over the next few days. We may see a break in the activity Thursday. Another chance of thunderstorms possible on Friday. Other than that, highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s.
Well, in our Morning Buzz report, Taylor Swift just dropped her album Speak Now, Taylor's version. The fans like myself noticed that there were some lyrics that were changed. In the album, the artist has taken out the controversial line, "She's better known for the things that she does on the mattress," from her single Better Than Revenge. In the new re-recorded version of the song, she changed the line to, "He was a moth to the flame, she was holding the matches." Harry Styles has been the latest victim of people throwing objects at singers. The English star was hit in the ear by an object while performing in Vienna during his Love on Tour concert. This incident comes just days after Adele warned her audience not to throw objects at artists. Other artists have been hit with objects include Drake, Bebe Rexha, and Ava Max. And it will really be goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Singer Elton John has finished his farewell tour in Stockholm over the weekend. The singer's career spanned over 50 years. He posted on his Instagram saying, "What a journey this tour has been, and now we find ourselves at the end of it." The farewell tour kicked off in 2018 and was originally meant to end in 2021, but was pushed back due to the pandemic. More than 6 million fans across the world turned out to see the legendary musician during his final performance. Now, I promised we were going to talk about Taylor Swift, and we are. So yes, she did re-release her album, Speak Now, Taylor's version.
Right.
And that album was completely self-written when it first came out, so it's completely self-written again, and she came out with about a few new songs on it.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to make Derek listen to them. Because
what's your favorite one so far?
My favorite one, I think it's called Foolish Ones.
Foolish Ones. Is it because of the name or just the lyrics?
Both.
Okay.
I think they very it's so accurate.
I feel like it has a unique name. So.
It does. She's got a couple really great ones, and the thing about these new albums that are recorded versions of the old ones is that she's putting out these songs that never made it in the first cut.
Gotcha.
So you're kind of getting these new songs from teenager, young adult Taylor.
Stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, before we have to break, it's time for today's Look Who's A.
We're going to start with Emma. She's turning 8 years old today. She loves soccer, gymnastics, swimming, and being with friends and family.
Darlene turns 88 today. She loves gardening, watching birds, and enjoys retirement with her husband, Gordon.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today. In 5 minutes or less, your Morning News Now is up next. In your Morning News Now, the La Crosse Police Department says one of their canine officers has died unexpectedly. Police say their German Shepherd Thor had not been himself, so they took him in for a veterinary visit. Doctors found Thor had a mass on his spleen. Even though surgery to remove it was a success, his recovery was not, and he died on July 4th with his handler by his side. Thor had over 500 deployments during his career. There will be a memorial for him in the coming weeks. Thor was 7 years old. A La Crosse teen arrested in connection to a violent beating of a man was in court. 17-year-old Javon Long is charged with first-degree recklessly endangering safety and aggravated battery with a dangerous weapon, both as party to a crime. Both charges are felonies. According to the criminal complaint, first responders found a man on Gold Street bleeding from a head injury. A police officer took the stand to testify what she saw in video recordings of the incident. She says Long punched the victim multiple times and another man used the victim's bike as a weapon. Long is out on a $5,000 signature bond. La Crosse police have arrested a man they believe intentionally sank a car into river near Huska Park. 18-year-old Kavi Kompan is in jail on charges of burglary, stealing a vehicle, theft of a domestic animal, criminal damage to property, and felony bail jumping. According to the police report, the car had been stolen earlier this week after Kompan allegedly broke into a home and stole the resident's vehicle keys. Kompan is also accused of stealing gaming consoles and the resident's cat. Police say the victim was sent a video of the car sinking in the river. According to online court records, Kompan has several open court cases, including criminal property damage and second-degree sexual assault. 3 men have been arrested as part of a drug trafficking investigation. 46-year-old Lewis Ray, 33-year-old Timothy Cannon, and 23-year-old Dante Ray Jr. were accused with dealing fentanyl and cocaine. Officers say they seized 43.2 grams of fentanyl in 3 vehicles during the investigation. And La Crosse's Habitat for Humanity wants to think bigger with its projects. It's launching a new program to go from one house to revamping a neighborhood. The nonprofit is launching Renew the Block to approach home construction on a bigger scale, focusing on entire blocks and communities. The first project Habitat is looking to renew is the block of Avon Street between Sill and Clinton Street. The project will include the Northside Community Pool and Logan Middle School. Habitat's community outreach director says larger scale projects will better address community needs.
Over the past several years, we've learned that our community needs so much more from us, and so we've developed additional programs around repairing homes, salvaging and deconstructing homes, focusing on neighborhood revitalization that sort of fill some essential gaps in our community right now.
Habitat has built over 70 houses since starting in 2002. This year, they plan on building 11. And if you're looking for a family-friendly event that supports a good cause, the Weiss family is hosting a kids' carnival at Wygen Park this weekend. Admission is $10 and it will be held from 4 to 7 p.m. on Saturday. There will be live music, a silent auction, kids' games, and fun for the whole family. We will have more information on our website, news8000.com.
As you head out the door this morning, temperatures are in the 60s with a few passing clouds, but for the most part, we're looking pretty sunny out there. We are going to be looking at mostly sunny skies for much of the day and turning pretty hot this afternoon. Highs into the upper 80s and low 90s. Here's a check on your 8-day forecast. A chance of a few thunderstorms over the next few days. Highs mainly into the 80s. Low temperatures into the 60s. Watch out for tonight, though, with a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Some of those storms turning strong to severe. We'll keep you updated here throughout the night. Very latest as those storms move through. But other than that, at least we have some storm chances. We need the rain. Hopefully nothing gets too severe tonight, though.
How was your weekend, by the way?
Weekend was pretty good. It was a nice weekend that we had weather-wise.
Yeah.
And, especially yesterday, too. Well, how about you? How'd it go?
Pretty good, pretty good. We said goodbye to Emily Haugen.
Right,
we bid her farewell on Saturday night and, saw some people.
Friday night, right?
Friday night, my bad.
Yeah, we get the days mixed up here.
Yes. We saw some News 8ers, past and present, and it was
good to see everybody again.
Yeah, and the weather was so nice. It wasn't too hot.
No.
There was a little breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to this week, too.
Yeah, hopefully more days like that. But
yes.
Again, the rain is definitely much needed, though. So.
All right. Well, thank you for watching News 8 Now this morning. Don't forget to keep up with news of the day on news8000.com. And we'll have the latest updates on today's top stories on News 8 Now at noon. Have a wonderful morning.